Well, good afternoon. I'm the North Dakota Carnivore. My name is Lance, and it's a beautiful Saturday, March 15th. Got a beautiful day up ahead, except for the wind. It's North Dakota, so that's what it does here. The wind blows. And, that's just what we expect. But that's not why I'm here. Just giving an update. I've been on the carnivore diet now for 205 days as of today. It's been a great experience for me. I originally did this here just for a 30-day period, just to see if I could improve my health and maybe lose a little bit of weight. Uh, Within the first 30 days, I did lose a little bit of weight. I also started coming off of my blood pressure medications, which I was taking 5 different blood pressure medicines. And within actually the first 2 weeks, I pretty much knew I wasn't going to be changing my diet again. This was going to be the diet that I was going to do because in the first month, I felt great. In the first 2 weeks, I felt absolutely fabulous. There's so much different waking up in the mornings and not being in pain. Without that pain, it was actually nice getting up. My alarm would go off and I would be awake. I'd be refreshed. I'd get out of bed like right away, and I didn't have to wait for my joints to stop hurting before I even moved out of bed. You shouldn't go to bed and wake up in just as much pain as what you did when you went to bed. It's just not right. And I don't do that anymore. And the first 2 weeks, that was gone. The first month, I was off just about all of my blood pressure medications. Within 6 weeks, I was off all of my blood pressure meds. I was off all 5 of my medications for my blood pressure. And there's nothing like this way of life. And it's not just a diet, it's a way of life. But there's so many different things that this way of eating, this lifestyle does for you. Um, the inflammation in your body goes away. I had a ton of inflammation throughout my body. My blood pressure was high, and things I've learned over the last 8.5, almost 9 months now of researching and then starting the carnivore diet, because I did some research on this here before I actually went in and jumped in head first. And but I did about 2.5 months of research, a lot of reading. Okay, not as much reading as I watched videos. I watched a ton of videos of doctors, of real doctors, actual doctors who do this lifestyle, who do this way of eating, who recommend this. I watch obesity doctors who recommend this way of eating for their patients because this is the way of eating that actually works. And finding that out and finding out what they have to say and everything, I'm 99% sure that I should have been diagnosed as a pre-diabetic or a diabetic a long time ago. Yeah, my blood sugars weren't high, but I know my insulin level was high. The amount of fat I had on my body, the amount of blood pressure medications I had to take to get my blood pressure almost under control is just amazing. And one of the markers for your high blood pressure that should be checked is should be your insulin. A high insulin increases inflammation, increases fat storage. If your insulin's high, there's a good chance your blood pressure is high too. My blood pressure was high. My sugars weren't because my I was storing fat like crazy. That's how I got up. At my heaviest, I was 347 pounds. I'm 6'3", so 347 pounds. I was a big boy, I tell you what. But I know that my insulin was high because of the amount of fat I had in my body. I know my insulin was high because of my blood pressure and all the aches and pains that I had. I know I was eating a lot of high oxalate foods. because of the pain I was in. My joints were hurting, my back, my knee, my wrists, my elbows, my neck, you name it. I've had pain in my feet for years, and I just associate that with getting old. I don't have those pains anymore. I don't have any of them. It's I've been living pain free. This is 205 days, so I'm a few days short of 7 months. So I've been living pain free for 6 months. I won't go back to living in pain. I will not go back to eating vegetables that are high in oxalate. Any plant that's high in oxalate, I will avoid now. And I did an experiment these last 3 weeks. I did experiment with something that I'd given up, but I enjoy. But I'd given up, and I wanted to try it again. I tried coffee again. I gave that up. Um, it was end of September sometime. I don't know exactly when. I didn't mark it down on the calendar or anything, but I gave up coffee. I The last little aches and pains that I had, and they were acceptable at the time. And I'd get up and they wouldn't bother me. It'd be throughout the day when I was doing stuff, I'd start to get these little aches. I was like, there's got to be something else I'm doing that's not relieving that inflammation. So I gave up my coffee. At the same time, I also gave up alcohol. I used to drink whiskey just about every night. I'd have a glass of whiskey on the rocks just to relax and veg out in front of the TV. And you know the deal. Scroll through TikTok, YouTube, whatever, X, just to relax before I go to bed. I gave coffee and alcohol up on the same day. Cold turkey just stopped, and it wasn't an issue. A couple days later, I noticed that while I was at work and doing the stuff I got to do, that those little pains that would creep back in towards the end of the day, I didn't have those anymore, and they were gone. So I kept it like that. Pretty much just beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's all I've been eating. Seafood, a little bit of dairy here and there. I haven't had, other than butter, I haven't had any dairy for, well, it's probably been over a month now. Um, it just, dairy does affect me if I eat cheeses or sour cream or, oh, I did have heavy whipping cream and a gravy I made uh, not too long ago. So I've had some heavy cream, but it was just a little bit on that there, and it didn't bother me when I did that. My but my experiment with the coffee 3 weeks ago, and I don't know why I did it. 3 weeks ago, I just decided one morning at work, probably because I like coffee. To me, coffee smells fabulous, especially first thing in the morning. Um, you guys made coffee at work, and it was like, so I went and had about 3/4 of a cup of coffee. And I had 1 cup of coffee 3 weeks ago. It didn't bother me. 2 weeks ago, I said, what the heck? I'll try it again. I had 2 cups of coffee. Not a day, just that was one day I had 1 3/4 cup of coffee. Then I had 2 3/4 cup coffee last week or the week before. This last week, oh, I I pushed it. I went to 3 cups of coffee. I had coffee on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Thursday morning, I woke up and I was in pain. I My neck hurt, my shoulder hurt, my hip hurt, my left hip was just wasn't right, and my both my feet hurt, and I haven't had that in a long time. So yeah, coffee doesn't agree with me, and that's not something I'm going to be able to do. Maybe once in a while, once a month, maybe if we go to eat breakfast someplace, or we go someplace to eat and I want to have a cup of coffee, maybe I'll have a cup of coffee, but I'm not going to be drinking it daily. It's not worth it to me. Um, I've had very little issues with anything else. Black pepper, I do have issues with. So it's black pepper is a higher oxalate seasoning. If I use too much black pepper, and it doesn't take much black pepper to do it, I get aches and pains. I learned that a few months ago. So if I use any like black pepper, I very sparingly use that now. Um, I've gotten some really good seasonings. Carnivore Companion. It's not my stuff. I don't get sponsored by it or anything. Carnivore Companion is he's on YouTube. Carnivorous Chef Reed. He actually makes some really good carnivore stuff, carnivore foods. He goes through it. It's really simple. Somebody like, if you don't know how to cook and you follow what he sets out for your steps, you'll be able to follow it. You'll be able to do what he does. They're really simple meals. But he has his own seasonings, and that's the Carnivore Companion. And I got the pack where the sample pack where I tried them all, and they are all fabulous. Can't say enough about them. They are really good things. I don't have issues with those seasonings. There's no sugars. It's just seasonings, and the seasoning, the way he puts them together, they work for me. Um, I'd recommend trying them. But with anything, try it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. It's like coffee. It doesn't work for me. I can't do it. Certain taco seasonings don't work for me. I've had carnivore tacos where what was it? Oh, I can't even think what it's called now. Oh, but carnivore tacos, it's nothing but dairy and egg and mixed together. Cottage cheese. I don't like cottage cheese, so it's hard for me to remember because I don't even like that stuff. But I can deal with it if it's mixed with an egg, blended till smooth, and then thrown in the oven and cooked. Then I can use it as taco shell. Um, so I've had tacos like that, and they don't bother me with well, if we make our own seasoning, then we know there's no sugar. We know there's no MSG. We know there's no natural flavorings, stuff like that, where they can hide stuff. Anything that you buy that says natural flavorings, that's one of those words that they don't have to report what's in it. They could put whatever they want in there. They can put poison in there, and they don't have to report it because it's generally recognized as safe. GRAS. That's a catch-all thing that food companies can use, and they can put whatever they want in there as long as it's under a certain amount. They don't have to report any of what's in there, and they can be completely unhealthy for you, and they get away with it. It's just disgusting. But the carnivore diet, more than anything, is an elimination diet. You eliminate everything but ruminant meats, beef, butter, bacon, eggs. I know bacon's not a ruminant meat, but it should be. Eggs aren't either, but eggs are a superfood. They've got more nutrition in an egg than, they're just fabulous. Don't listen to take with a grain of salt what you're being told about eggs and eggs being bad. They're not. They're a superfood. Same with bacon. Bacon is pretty much a superfood. It's got the proper fat to protein ratios, and the fat is what your body needs. The saturated fat is actually very good for you. Saturated fat does not make you fat. Vegetables, fruits, processed carbohydrates, that's what makes you fat. Not meat, not saturated fat. You want to lose fat, eat more fat. and then you will lose your fat. And it's got to be healthy fat. And by healthy, I mean it has to come from an animal. It can't come from a seed. The seed fats are not good. Seed oils aren't good for you. They really aren't. But it's just another one of those things that you learn while you're doing this. The doctors on the carnivore, and there's a ton of doctors out there. I follow like 7 of them, but there's also other doctors out there that are in my algorithm now that I watch. A couple of nutritionists I watch. Um, there's a couple of doctors on X, a couple nutritionists on X that are pro keto, pro carnivore, um, and they have really good information on this lifestyle. The information is out there. Uh, take the time, sit down on your phone instead of scrolling through whatever you're scrolling through. Search for carnivore on X, on uh, YouTube, Facebook. I don't do a whole lot with Facebook. I know I'm in a couple of carnivore groups there, but I really don't. Got a bad taste for Facebook several years ago, and I stopped posting. I don't do much on there at all. It's just not where I like to be. Never did Instagram. A lot of people do. I've never been uh, into that. I'd rather sit down and watch a video or you know just Google search something and find information and read it. It sticks with me better. But that's it's another thing, another story. Um, so to get to an update, I've been on this for 205 days. Um, this week I did not lose any weight. I am at 242 pounds as of last week, and that is still what I am at this week. My weight has basically just stayed the same. Uh, since my last update, I think I'd just finished a 72-hour fast on my last update, if I remember right. And then the next week, I did a 96-hour fast. So that was last week or the week before. I lost a couple pounds on that, but man, after 96 hours, I felt amazing. Um, the hardest part about doing a fast is that first 24 hours. The night before I started the fast, I had a big meal. And that held me through the whole day and into the night. And it wasn't until right before I was getting ready to go to bed where I started like, God, I should eat. I'm starting to get hungry. And I was like, no, just go to bed and you'll wake up in the morning. You won't be hungry. And it worked. I had a bigger meal. It satisfied me. I stayed satiated through the day. My cravings for food, for being hungry, really weren't there. So I was able to manage that first 24 hours a lot better. When I woke up the next morning, it had been 36 hours, 34 hours since I ate, and I wasn't hungry. After that, there's no more hunger pains. There's no more even really thinking about food. Even smelling food. The guys in the office throw stuff in the microwave, and the office smells like food. It didn't bother me at all. It wasn't a big deal. Um, but I managed to go 96 hours. I shouldn't say managed. I went 96 hours and I went very successfully. I had no issues. Broke the fast with too much food. Um, if you know, you know. I had 3 eggs, probably 4 slices of bacon, and then I waited for an hour and I ate my regular meal. I should have stuck to what I normally would do, which is 2 eggs, 2 slices of bacon. Just the extra egg and the extra couple slices of bacon was just too much food. So your gallbladder and your stomach create too much stomach acid and bile, and yeah, you know soon afterwards. It was maybe 2 hours after I ate my regular meal, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But that's all right. I know better now, and I know to stick to that small, just a, maybe a 200 calorie uh, worth of food after a fast, just to break it and get your stomach and everything back up to, hey, there's food, we got to eat. Um, so I'm 3 pounds away now from being overweight. Um, Believe it or not, I'm still considered to be obese. 242 pounds, 6'3", 58-year-old male. That's still considered obese. That's if you go off of the BMI. I haven't done my neck measurement. My stomach is down to around my belly is down to 37 and a half inches. A month after starting carnivore, I was at 58 inches. So I've lost over 20 inches around my belly. When I first started carnivore, the tape measure I had to measure around your stomach and stuff like that, it's cloth tape. Only goes to 60 inches, and I couldn't get a reading on it. It was too big. I had a really big belly. So my granddaughter calls me Big Belly Papa. But she can't call me that anymore because I don't have that big belly. Yeah, I just want to let you know that I'm still doing good, still getting benefits. My attitude, if you can't tell, I'm happy. I don't mind being in front of people. Yeah, I'm doing a video. I'd have never done this before. There's absolutely no way. I would have never done this. So there's a whole lot of things that change in your life for the better. A whole lot of things that change for the better in your life when you switch to the carnivore diet. It's just such a remarkable way of life. It's a remarkable way of eating. I highly recommend if you are thinking about it, do the research. Go to YouTube, go to X, look for the carnivore doctors, Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Tony Hampton, uh, Dr. Kiltz. There's a ton of doctors out there, nutritionists, Judy Cho. Look up the other creators that are out there that have done carnivore and have had amazing benefits through their life. Homestead Howe, Kerry Mann, he reversed, what was it called? He had a heart condition, and it's one of those conditions that just get progressively worse, and he reversed it. He doesn't have it anymore. So it's just amazing. Adam from Carnivore Today, he had a traumatic brain injury. He was in an accident, and he's healed from that. Um, and there are others out there that have done the same thing. People have reversed their autoimmune disease. Michaela Peterson, she has an amazing carnivore story, and it's amazing what her body was able to heal by switching to a carnivore diet. Now, Michaela does the lion diet, which is just ruminant animals and water. She doesn't eat anything else because that triggers her autoimmune diseases, and she prefers to live a pain-free, healthy life. Jordan Peterson, her dad, has also done the same thing. And it's just amazing some of the stories of the people are out there. So, heck, look at Bill Knott. Bill Knott in Alaska. The guy was 700 pounds, hadn't been outside for, I think, 5 years. He's lost over 300 pounds now, and he's out and about doing stuff. Look up Bill Knott. He has an amazing story, and he does his videos with him and his cat Daisy. So, but there's there are a ton of people out there that have amazing stories. There's a lot of people that do interviews out there, um, and they get people to tell their carnivore stories. Dave Mack, he puts out about 3 videos a day on his YouTube channel. It's amazing what these people have done and what they've recovered from. Kerry Mann with Homestead How, he's doing him and Adam Carnivore Today. They're doing a documentary. It's called Healing Humanity: The Power of a Proper Human Diet. They've interviewed a ton of people for this, and they have great interviews on their channels. Dante Ferrigno, he's got an amazing story. That's actually who inspired Kerry Mann to do the carnivore diet and to get his life turned around. So, the stories are out there. The people are out there telling their stories. Go out there and check them out. Yeah, they're anecdotal because it's one person telling their story. But if it worked for them, what's the chance that it's going to work for you? Think about it.